Hello, Tiger Seed customers. I'm here with Lance Getz. I think I pronounced it right. Anyway,
Yeah.
he's our agronomist for the area, and it is April 1st, and I just had a phone call from one of our customers, Lance, and he wants to know if he can start planting tomorrow. Well, I told him to look ahead. We had that conversation as far as planting depth and soil temperature, everything like that. But it is April 1st. We're a long ways from April 10th. What are the risks of him doing this too soon?
Yeah, so the topic I want to talk about right here today is imbibitional chilling. And I'll first define what that phrase means.
That would be good. Please do.
So, imbibitional, the part of that is imbibing. So, imbibing water. And
Okay.
when a seed is in the ground, it's soaking up water. Anything that has water around it, as even a piece of wood, would imbibe water.
Okay.
That seed naturally is going to imbibe water and absorb water to germinate. But if it's imbibing cold water, that's imbibitional chilling, especially when it's below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And that can cause several problems. The main problem is that seed, the cell membranes, so when it's imbibing that water, the cell membranes are expanding and becoming more elastic because it's starting to germinate. When it's cold, those cell membranes are really separating, and then they begin to crack and start to leak out some of the sugars that are inside the seed. And those are great for pathogens that are trying to get in and infect
Okay.
that seedling. So when it's warmer soil temperatures, the seed and the plant start to repair that seed as it expands. It repairs, grows, expands, repairs, grows, expands, repairs. When it's cold, it just expands, and the seed itself isn't repairing itself as it is expanding. So then you run into those issues of seedling diseases. On the corn side, you can have corkscrewing of the mesocotyl or leafing out underground. So those are some of the concerns I'd have with planting into colder, wet soils. And this can happen for both corn and soybeans for the imbibitional chilling. And then there's also cold injury.
Okay.
Cold injury is something that is experienced when you just have colder soil temperatures,
Okay.
and it's not related to water. So you could have that plant or the seed that's in the ground, and you have this fluctuation, especially towards the soil surface, where it's really close to the soil surface and the seed's underground. If you get some really cold nights, that first inch or so, the fluctuation in temperature is happens quite rapidly throughout the night. So having that seed at a lower place in the soil helps protect it from having those fluctuations. When it gets to be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning at its coldest point, you want to make sure that seed down below doesn't get those cold temperatures. You could have some additional problems with reduced stand with that cold injury, but not as severe as the imbibitional chilling.
Well, as it sits today, looking at the calendar, looking forward, ground temperature today is 44 degrees.
Yep.
But we're going to be 70, 75 by the weekend, have a few days of that. And we've already talked that between 50 and 55 is optimal as far as planting. But listening to you, don't just plan on, all right, my ground temperature is 51, everything looks good, I'm going to go. Look how many days ahead so that it's not a cold snap that you're planning into.
That's a good key point. It's really that first 48 hours
Okay.
when that seed is soaking up that water is where you're going to be most concerned for that imbibitional chilling. So as long as you get a good, first 48 hours, it gets its first drink of water that's warm. That's what's the most crucial part. And as you said, we have a really nice forecast ahead of us, and it's really going to warm up, and there's going to be a lot of guys tempted to get out there and plant, and a lot of guys are going to go for it. The only concern I would have is once those soybeans, for example, if we're talking about soybeans, get out of the ground, if we have a frost that comes in the early part of May, like we did last year, and those soybeans are out of the ground, those can freeze off, and that growing point is above ground, so that'll kill that crop. On the corn side, you're a little bit more protected because that growing point stays underground until V6. So
All right.
that's what I'd say in summary. And thanks for tuning in today with us at Tager Seed and hearing about us talk about imbibitional chilling and cold injury. And tune in next time for another topic with us.
The way I'm going to remember it is this, Lance. I like to have a cold beverage but corn and beans do not. How's that?
Yeah,
Is that
there you
okay?
go.
All right. See you next time.
Thanks.